This is our pitch deck and demo for Necro. We haven't raised any money yet, and we also only applied for funding from 4 different places. So this is probably not the best example to learn from, but it's what we have right now. So, we are Necro, and we generate interactive 3D worlds with neural nets. Spent a long time thinking about that slogan and not very happy with it. But what it means is that we were playing around with these text-to-image models and we thought, this is pretty cool. But what if we could generate these images as 3D environments with sounds, stories, gameplay elements that you could actually drop into a game engine, or maybe it's already the game. And the first step to that is just being able to generate an individual 3D model from a text prompt. Now, the text-to-image models work great, but it turns out that the open source text to 3D models are nowhere close to this kind of quality. We wanted to try to hack together an MVP using some open source stuff, but we couldn't get that working, so we started implementing our own architecture. Let's cut to the demo. Our demo makes no sense to users right now, but we made a lot of progress on the architecture. It is coming together, so let me talk about that. We are able to generate a high-quality 3D model from a text prompt. That is not simple. The open source architectures are mostly not even able to do that, and it takes about 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whereas ours runs in a few seconds. The problem is we've overfitted on a training set. And we did this on purpose. We wanted to verify that our architecture is actually capable of producing high quality results. But if you type in some random crap, the output is always going to be something that is very similar to one of the training inputs. So this is the most important thing for us to get working before we actually have a demo that's useful. Some other things that are interesting. We don't have a fast way to render yet because we had to create our own custom 3D format to do machine learning on it. So in our real-time web app, it takes a few minutes just to render 6 images of the model from different angles, but we can render as many images as we want as long as we have time, and then we can make nice looping GIFs like this. And if you're confused what the light and dark means, this is a depth map because we don't support textures yet, so dark means the surface is closer. I don't like doing financial forecasting because I think it's BS most of the time, but we can look at Midjourney as a good example for why this will make a lot of money. And we can also take a cut of all the games or mods or in-game content that is created with our tools. So for example, Epic takes 5% of the revenue from Unreal Engine after the first million, and Unreal Engine made a ton of money. We also have a plan. Believe it or not, you might not be able to tell from these videos, but we're working on getting individual 3D asset creation working well for a niche use case. We're not sure what that is right now. We're looking into Fortnite modding, but that might not be it. But our main metrics are revenue and user retention. And we need to set some goals and timelines, not really something that I'm good at. But if we can't hit our goals, then our backup plan is to make our own game or our own mod using our AI. And I definitely think this will work. This is just a matter of being able to make a good game, which is easier said than done. It took me more than 10 games before Frantic Architect popped off. But like if the problem is we need to make one good game using our AI, like that's definitely doable. We just really need to push hard at it. And I think that first-hand game dev experience is always good. So if we can't get users who are making cool stuff with our AI, then we'll do it ourselves. Then after we get individual 3D assets generated well, it gets really interesting because then the problem is how do you compose multiple assets together to create interesting gameplay? And that's where there's nothing that currently exists. This slide makes us look kind of bad because there are a lot of competitors. We're not working on this because we think that, the world needs us to work on this and the problem won't be solved if we don't do it. This is the most exciting and the biggest problem in games right now, like applying generative AI to game design. And we want to work on this, even though there's a lot of competition. I do think that because it's a very creative problem, we need many different solutions, right? There's no one size fits all. I'm not going to go over all these companies. This is the last slide I want to show. Usually in a pitch deck, you would also talk about the funding requirements, but everything we're working on is changing so quickly right now that by the time you watch this video, it'll probably be out of date. If you are interested, definitely send me an email. But I don't want to put something up for it to be nonsensical the next week. And I know that usually you will want to introduce the founding team as well. It feels really weird to introduce myself by talking over a pitch deck when I've already made like 50 YouTube videos. And I really don't want to introduce my co-founder or other team members in a boring way like this. I really like making content and they deserve a better video. But I hope you got something out of this. I mean, we have a ton of work to do. So I'm going to get back to work.